Jacob's story begins with deception. From the very beginning, his life was marked by cunning and ambition. He was born grasping the heel of his twin brother Esau, a symbolic gesture that foreshadowed the rivalry and struggle that would define their relationship. Esau, the firstborn, held the coveted birthright, a double portion of their father's inheritance and the spiritual leadership of the family. This birthright was not just a material advantage but a sacred trust, a link in the chain of their family's destiny. But Jacob, favored by his mother Rebekah, yearned for that blessing. Rebekah believed that Jacob was destined for greatness, and she was willing to go to great lengths to see him achieve it. One fateful day, Esau returned home famished from hunting. His exhaustion and hunger made him vulnerable, and Jacob saw an opportunity to exploit his brother's weakness. Jacob seized the opportunity, offering a bowl of lentil stew in exchange for Esau's birthright. It was a cunning move, preying on Esau's immediate need for sustenance. Driven by hunger, Esau recklessly agreed. In that moment of desperation, he traded away his future for a fleeting satisfaction. He despised his birthright, placing little value in its spiritual significance. To Esau, the birthright was just an abstract concept, easily discarded in the face of physical need. Later, with Rebekah's help, Jacob tricked their aging father Isaac into bestowing the blessing intended for Esau upon himself. Disguised as Esau, Jacob deceived his blind father, securing the blessing through lies and manipulation. The deception worked, but it came at a heavy price. Jacob's actions sowed discord and resentment within the family, leading to a rift that would take years to heal. Jacob fled, fearing his brother's wrath, and embarked on a journey that would forever change him. This journey was not just a physical escape but a path to self-discovery and transformation, setting the stage for the trials and tribulations that would shape his destiny. Exiled and alone, Jacob journeyed to Haran. The path was long and arduous, stretching across the vast, unforgiving desert. Each step he took was heavy with the weight of his past actions and the uncertainty of his future. The sun beat down mercilessly, and the nights were cold and lonely. Yet, Jacob pressed on, driven by a sense of purpose and a hope for redemption. One night, as he slept, he had a vivid dream. The stars above seemed to whisper secrets of the universe, and the cool night air brought a sense of calm. In his dream, the ordinary world around him transformed into something extraordinary. He saw a ladder stretching from earth to heaven, with angels ascending and descending. The ladder was not just a simple structure, it was a bridge between the mortal and the divine, a pathway to the heavens. The angels moved gracefully, their presence filling Jacob with awe and wonder. Above the ladder stood God, reaffirming the covenant promise made to Abraham, Isaac, and now Jacob. God's voice was powerful yet comforting, echoing through the dreamscape. He spoke of the promises made to Jacob's forefathers and now extended to him. God promised to bless Jacob, to multiply his descendants, and to give him the land on which he lay. This promise was not just for Jacob, but for his future generations, a legacy that would shape the destiny of his people. This encounter at Bethel, the house of God, marked a turning point in Jacob's life. It was a moment of profound spiritual awakening, a realization that he was part of a divine plan much greater than himself. Despite his deceit, God remained faithful to his promises. Jacob's past was marred by trickery and deceit, but this divine encounter offered him a chance at redemption and a new beginning. Jacob awoke filled with awe and fear. The dream had been so vivid, so real, that it left him trembling. He knew he had been in the presence of the divine. He realized the holiness of the place and made a vow to serve God. This vow was a solemn promise, a commitment to live a life in accordance with God's will. He set up a pillar of stone and poured oil on it, consecrating the ground as a place of worship. This act of consecration was a testament to his newfound faith and dedication, marking the spot as sacred for generations to come. Jacob's journey led him to Laban, his uncle. There, he fell in love with Rachel, Laban's beautiful daughter. Laban, however, was a shrewd businessman. He tricked Jacob into working 7 years for Rachel's hand in marriage, only to give him Leah, Rachel's older sister, on their wedding night. Jacob, bound by his word, agreed to work another 7 years for Rachel. He endured Laban's deceit and exploitation for 14 years. During this time he fathered 11 sons and a daughter. These years were marked by hardship and toil, but they also refined Jacob's character. He learned the value of hard work, patience, and perseverance. He experienced the consequences of deception, both as the deceiver and the deceived. After 20 years, Jacob decided to return to his homeland. He left Laban secretly, taking his wives, children, and possessions. Laban pursued Jacob, angry at his departure. They finally met, and Laban accused Jacob of stealing his household gods. Jacob, unaware that Rachel had taken the idols, allowed Laban to search his belongings. Laban found nothing. This event revealed the depth of Jacob's transformation. He was no longer the conniving young man who had fled his home. Before parting ways, Jacob and Laban made a covenant of peace. They erected a pillar of stones as a witness to their agreement. This act symbolized Jacob's desire for reconciliation and his commitment to living in peace. As Jacob journeyed homeward, he was filled with fear. He knew Esau, still harboring resentment, was nearby. One night, as Jacob was alone, a man wrestled with him until daybreak. The struggle was intense, leaving Jacob wounded but not defeated. This was no ordinary opponent, it was God himself who wrestled with Jacob until he surrendered his will. At daybreak, God asked Jacob, "What is your name?" He answered, "Jacob. Your name will no longer be Jacob," God declared, "but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome." Jacob's new name Israel meant he struggles with God. It marked a profound transformation in his character. Section 6. Reconciliation and Forgiveness. Jacob, humbled and strengthened by his encounter with God, prepared to meet Esau. He sent gifts ahead, hoping to appease his brother's anger. When they finally met, Jacob bowed low to the ground 7 times. To Jacob's surprise, Esau ran to meet him, embraced him, and kissed him. The years of bitterness and anger seemed to melt away. Esau, moved by Jacob's humility and sincerity, offered forgiveness. This emotional reunion marked a turning point in their relationship. The brothers, once locked in a cycle of deception and rivalry, found reconciliation and peace. Jacob's willingness to humble himself and seek forgiveness paved the way for healing. Section 7. A nation forged from sons. Jacob's 12 sons became the fathers of the 12 tribes of Israel. Each son inherited a portion of Jacob's blessing, reflecting their individual characters and destinies. Despite their flaws and rivalries, these sons formed the foundation of a nation. Jacob lived a long life, witnessing both the joys and sorrows of his family. He saw his sons grow into men, but he also experienced their failings. Through it all, he held on to the promise God had made to him at Bethel. As Jacob's life drew to a close, he gathered his sons around him. He blessed each one, speaking words of prophecy over their descendants. These blessings revealed God's plan to establish a great nation through Jacob's offspring. Section 8. A life of blessing. Jacob's life, though marked by hardship and struggle, was ultimately a story of God's faithfulness. Despite his flaws and failings, Jacob experienced God's transformative power. He learned to trust in God's promises, to surrender his will, and to seek forgiveness. God used Jacob's life to fulfill his covenant with Abraham. From his descendants came the nation of Israel, a people chosen to carry God's blessing to the world. Jacob's story reminds us that God can use even the most flawed individuals for his purposes. Jacob's legacy extends beyond his immediate family. His story continues to inspire and challenge people today. It reminds us that God's grace is sufficient for our weaknesses and that his plans will ultimately prevail. Section 9. Lessons from Jacob's journey. Jacob's life offers timeless lessons for us today. His journey, filled with trials and triumphs, mirrors the complexities of our own lives. From his early days of deceit to his later years of reconciliation, Jacob's story is a testament to the transformative power of faith and perseverance. We learn that God can use even our mistakes and failures for his glory. Jacob's missteps, like deceiving his brother Esau, were significant, yet they did not define his entire life. Instead, they became pivotal moments where God's grace and mercy shone through, teaching us that our past does not dictate our future. His transformative power can turn our weaknesses into strengths and our struggles into triumphs. Jacob's wrestling with God is a powerful metaphor for our own spiritual battles. Through his struggle, he emerged with a new identity, Israel, symbolizing the strength that comes from divine encounters. Jacob's journey teaches us the importance of surrendering to God's will. In moments of surrender, like when Jacob built an altar at Bethel, we find clarity and purpose. These acts of devotion remind us to seek God's guidance in all aspects of our lives. It is in our moments of surrender that we experience His greatest blessings. Jacob's vision of the ladder reaching to heaven at Bethel is a profound reminder that divine blessings often come when we least expect them, in our moments of deepest need and humility. When we let go of our own plans and desires, we open ourselves to His infinite possibilities. Jacob's life, marked by his journey from Haran to Canaan, illustrates the beauty of trusting in God's plan, even when the path is uncertain and fraught with challenges. Finally, Jacob's story highlights the power of forgiveness. The reunion with his brother Esau is one of the most moving scenes in the Bible, showing that forgiveness can heal even the deepest wounds and restore broken relationships. Despite the hurts he inflicted and endured, Jacob found reconciliation with his brother and peace with God. This act of forgiveness not only mended their relationship but also brought peace to their families, demonstrating the far-reaching impact of true reconciliation. Forgiveness breaks down walls of bitterness and opens the door to healing and restoration. Jacob's story encourages us to let go of grudges and embrace the healing power of forgiveness, which can transform our lives and the lives of those around us. Like Jacob, we are all on a journey of faith. Each step we take, whether in joy or sorrow, brings us closer to understanding God's purpose for our lives. Jacob's journey is a powerful reminder that faith is not a destination, but a continuous path of growth and discovery. May his story inspire us to trust in God's promises, to surrender to His will, and to extend forgiveness to others. In doing so, we can experience the fullness of life that God intends for us, filled with hope, love, and endless possibilities.